You are listening to the ERP, Organizational Change Journal, a podcast brought to you by Nestle and Associates.
So Chris, your book is talking about changing your company from the inside out. And since organizations are built by people and people have emotions and, there are social networks within organizations, as we discussed, do emotions have a place in effective organizational change? And how do you address emotions specifically? Because it's, let's face it, Chris, organizational change can be tough and highly disruptive. And, you're dealing with all sorts of wonderful human beings with various levels of tolerance and diversity in many different areas. And so does that need to be managed or not? Or what's your general thoughts there?
Certainly. It's so true. When you asked that question, Jack, it made me think of Gib Bullock, who used to be at Accenture as a leader, started the Accenture Development Program as an intrapreneur. And Gib used to talk about the corporate antibodies, how they existed to kill off anything that didn't look like them. And so when you think about the question of emotions, people do have that, and organizations have this kind of emotional reaction to change, where for every action there's an equal opposite reaction to push back against it. And so really the art of the intrapreneur is to really make a case that plays to the aspirations of the culture, of the leaders around them, of the people around them, the better world that they can see without, and really the optimism, the possibility of that, without triggering as much of that fear-based response that really stifles progress. And that's really hard.
Yeah, and Chris, and one of the reasons I actually brought that question up is because you mentioned a great point on your website, actually, and you talk about this idea of strategic implementation, right? And along with that, your website says, quote, "We believe the process of cultural change needs to be authentic and human." And so when I saw that, if you're authentic and human, that means you've got emotions, right? And everyone has emotions. So just thought I would run that one by you. Strategic implementation without considering the human element, I think you're bound for failure.
And that actually brings us really nicely back around full circle to one of your early questions, Jack. And it gave me the opportunity to mention the BUILD framework, building the Riverbank. And that's really infused with authenticity and humanity. The idea of being curious as the first step in change is kind of counter, flips the script to how many people talk about and think about change, of driving change and leading change. Be curious is the first step. Connecting with people, listening, understanding, unleashing the influences is, again, because of that humanity and that authenticity, that in any change, there will be some people who are on board early, hopefully, and there'll be some people who won't be, and it will take a while. And so really engaging those early adopters as your partners and being respectful to those who are not ready for the change, and have good input and concerns that need to be considered and addressed. And then infusing the process and the culture with purpose and vision and values and the things that really do uplift people. Leading positively, helping people grow and develop on the journey. And then finally deepening the change and recognizing that willpower is not enough when it comes to change. That with just good intentions, we're kind of going to splash the water around for a while, but it's just going to keep going back the way it was going once the attention shifts. And so just recognizing that is human nature. And so setting things in place such that it sticks.